Alrighty, today we're just going to go ahead and take this Arbor press that we created and we want to get this thing ready to 3D print. So we're going to use an Ultimaker to go printer and Cura software to slice this thing into a model to be able to 3D print. So once your Arbor press is fully assembled and it's good to go, I'm missing a couple pieces, but once yours is all ready to roll, good to go, you're going to go over here to File and you're going to Export. And you're going to export it to a CAD format. Now every 3D printer is a little different, okay? But we're going to go ahead and we're going to select an STL. That's pretty standard, okay? And then we're going to go to Options. And this is an important thing. Like for our 3D printer, we want to go ahead and we want to export this to millimeters. And we want the resolution to be high, all right? You don't have to mess with the sliders, but we do not want to... We don't want to default it to the BREP. We'll keep the resolution high, all right? And then once you have that, you'll hit OK, and then you'll save it, Arbor Press, you know, whatever your file name is, that's fine. Just notice it's an STL file now, and where you're going to save it at. So we'll save it. And now that this particular file is all saved, we're going to go over here to the Windows icon, and on your guys' computer, it should be under Ultimaker Cura. Now, I think your version is 3.4, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and that'll just take a second to load. If it does ask you to update this, just don't. Let's just keep it all at this particular one. See, like right here, it's already up to this version. We'll just X out of that. That way all the screens look the same. Now, there's a distinct possibility that the Ultimaker to go is not set up for you yet. Okay, so if it's not set up, we might have to do that. But mine's in here, so we'll just take a look right now. So we'll go to Open File, and you're going to go and you're going to find where you created that file that you just created, sorry. And mine should be in my Inventor folder somewhere. So yeah, it's in Documents and Inventor and Arbor Press. That's the one I just saved, .stl. Hit open. Now if you look, this thing comes in and it's like, hey, it doesn't fit. That's why it's got that little action looking like that. And that's okay, because we can make it smaller. So we can come down here and we can go to Move, Scale, Rotate. We want Scale. And we want it to be uniform scaled. And it doesn't really matter which one we select here. We can select any of these. I'm going to go ahead and select this green one and just kind of start to scale this thing down. And what I'd like to do is try to take this thing to, you can also come right over here. We're going to take it to 25%. So type in 25, hit enter, and that's going to make that a 25% scale. And that's how big we want to try to 3D print that thing. So once you're done with 25% scale, you can click out. And now you got to decide, how do you want to print this model? Do you want to print it laying down like that? Do you want to print it, you know, a different location? And that has to do with just honestly personal preference. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to rotate this thing and make it so it's sitting like it would if it was sitting on a table. So I'm going to go to rotate, and it looks like on my particular model, I'm going to have to rotate this red box. So I'm going to left click, drag that red circle until I get to 90 degrees, and then I'm going to drop it. And yours might be something a little different, right? So that looks good. And if I wanted to, you know, rotate it the other way to make it so I can see it, you know, you don't have to, but I can rotate this 90 degrees this way and, okay, click outside of here. And that's my little Arbor Press guy I want to move, all right? Or I want to make. So there it is, sitting in the middle of the screen, and that's fine. If we need to move it, you know, if somebody, maybe we don't want to always print in the same location, we can just click and drag these around a little. Maybe we want to print over on this side of the bed or over here, you know, so that's how you do it, okay? So you got this thing ready to go, and now we just got to set up some information here. So on the side here, it should be recommended. Sometimes it defaults to custom. We want recommended. We want the layer height to be 0.2 because it'll print as fast as it possibly can. Some quality issues will be there, so we'll just keep that as is. So make sure it's 0.2, make sure it's 20%, make sure you have generate support selected, but take off build plate adhesion. And once we have that selected, we're ready to go, and you're going to click Prepare. And it's going to slice this model into little tiny layers. And if we want to, it's done. It's going to say it's going to take 30 minutes to print. Sweet, that's fast. We like it. Go to Layer View right here. This is kind of fun. And it says it's going to take 228 layers of plastic. If you click and drag that thing down, this is how the layers will print. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little so you can see that. So this is the infill that we have right here. It's not very much. As it builds up, it just shows how it'll build this whole Arbor press up. Pretty cool deal. I'm going to tell you that I think I want to change that a little bit. I want to change this infill. So I'm going to change this to 50%. I'm going to make it closer. And then I'm going to have you hit Prepare again. It's going to take a little bit longer to print and a little bit more material, but I do think as we get down here, it's a much tighter grid. It'll be a much stronger print in this case. So I'm good with that. And if you're good with that, we're ready to move on to saving to removable device. So what you'll need to do is there's a special jump drive. So ask me for it. It has an SD card, like a camera card in it. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to use the adapter, plug that into the USB drive, and go ahead and click Save to Removable Drive. And then you'll bring it over to me, and I will show you how to plug that thing in our little printer and get this thing going. If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, that is the process. Let's rock and roll.